What is up, Know It All world? You are in tune to the Know It All podcast, and as usual, you got myself and Tate Boy Fresh. Big G will be along shortly. We are excited about this Thanksgiving weekend. I hope your Thanksgiving weekend has been as awesome as mine. Food, family, and fun. Tate, how you doing, man? How you doing? How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh man, my Thanksgiving was great, man. I'm actually just getting my house back, man. My brother and nephew here, but my sister and her family and my mom and my niece, everybody been here since Wednesday. They just left a couple hours ago. So, I had a busy house all weekend, but it was great just to spend time with family, man, and play games and watch movies and watch football and eat and everything. It was a great weekend.
Yeah, you was doing the holiday road Chevy Chase thing, man.
Yeah, I saw that that on the pickles, man.
And ain't nothing wrong with it, man. I was excited for you, man, having all your family there. Definitely, man. We like to thank you guys for being with us, the Know It All podcast, man, rocking with us. If you would do your best to like and subscribe on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch so that when we go live, you'll definitely get those notifications, man. And look, we ready and we anxious to get to it. But before we do, let's get to this. And you are tuned to the Know It All podcast, man, and definitely we about to get it in. Thanksgiving games were fun this year, man. They were super fun. Uh, you know, uh, B Dirt already chimed in and said, "Oh, what a weekend!" Yes, it was a great weekend. And I even said this on my Pick'em show, B Dirt. I said that you was gonna be happy, man, because I knew that your team was gonna beat the Titans. But we'll get into that.
Man,
Definitely get into that.
he more happy about Michigan beating Ohio State, man.
We know he's happy about Michigan beating Ohio State too, as well. That's part of it, man. I mean, but again, we're gonna have to get into that because it was a lot going on, man. It was a lot going on. So, but we'll start with the Thanksgiving games: the Bills versus the Lions, man. Bills versus the Lions. The Bills won this game 28-25. Now, here's the thing. I told you guys. I said it on the Pick'em show. I said it. I said this will be a hard game. Detroit's gonna give it. They're gonna give it all they got. Buffalo's gonna win by 3. That's exactly what I said, and that's exactly what happened. Because of the simple fact that I just want you to know, Detroit is not gonna be an easy out from here on out. Anybody that thinks they're gonna be an easy out, you fooling yourself. You fooling yourself. Tell you what you think about that game, man.
I thought that was the best game of Thanksgiving Day, man. I mean, it was. I found myself pulling for the Bills, man, just because they underdog, they play hard. Detroit against everybody, man. That's how we rock. I'm from Northwest Ohio, so up there in that Detroit area, about an hour and a half from Detroit. So I rock with Detroit like that, man. But yeah, the Lions played really good. They just left Josh Allen just a little too much time at the end to get them down there in field goal range.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't. Josh Allen, Patty Mahomes, you got to take all the time off the clock with them jokers. It just is what it is. You leave them time, they will hurt you. They will hurt. They're out of the mode of Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Next game that we had, man, was the Cowboys versus the Giants. I had told everybody in this game, the Cowboys will win, but it's not going to be like this game where it's the year of the gritty teams. These teams are gritty. The Giants may have a 7-4 record, but they're gritty, man, and they fight to the bitter end. They're not going to give up a ton of points, and they're going to sit there and continue to keep fighting. But the Cowboys played really good. I think something to note, and then I'll let you kind of respond on this game too. Something to note. I'm just going to tell you, Will McClay, and Stephen Jones are some of the greatest talent evaluators that we got in football, in NFL football, man. I mean, when you look at it, that group of tight ends that they got, they all drafted all of them. And the core nucleus of the Cowboys team is kids that they've drafted. They built the team through the draft. And I'm super impressed, bro. I'm super impressed. And we were up at 14 points. Giants got, another 7 in garbage time. But the Cowboys won this game. What do you think about this game, Tate?
We started eating after the Detroit game. We sat down for dinner, and the game was on the TV. But I mean, I saw the Giants were up early, and then Dallas kind of went on a flurry in the third quarter and pulled away. So I mean, I really wasn't watching that game, and I didn't even watch the last game, the Vikings and Patriots, that much at all. I see it was a shootout. But yeah, that Dallas looked good, man. I got Dallas in my true contender section now with San Francisco and Philly and Dallas. I think them the 3 strongest teams in the NFC. You can put. I really wouldn't put anybody else there. Tampa Bay lost today. I thought they was going to get hot and go on the road. They lost to the Browns today. So, them 3 teams. You got to put the Vikings in there too. But I think they're a little. I think they're a little fugazi. I mean, I think
just a little.
Just a little. I mean, see what Dallas did to them. I think and Philly was the other loss they got. They got 2 losses to Dallas and Philly, and I think San Francisco will beat them. But if they run in San Francisco, it could be in their place. Could be in Minnesota. It probably would be in Minnesota.
It will be in Minnesota because I think Minnesota is going to continue to keep winning. Speaking of which, it was the Patriots and the Vikings. The Vikings pulled it out 33-26. The thing I like about the Vikings, Tate, here's the thing. And know it all land. I want y'all to get this too. They win the hard games. The games that they're there in the end, they're going to win those. You know what I'm saying? And that's a true testament of a team. You know that they beat Buffalo in the last seconds. They beat the Commanders in the last seconds. Those tough games they're winning. It's the games that they're out of early. Those are the games they just lay down. I guess.
But I think they receive like assistance, man. Like they on football welfare. Josh Allen gave the game away. Taylor Heineke gave the game away against. Those are games they should have probably lost. Yeah. But good team nonetheless. I mean,
find a way to win those games.
When you got Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, you working with something.
And Justin Jefferson is probably the best wide receiver in football this year, man. I mean, do you agree or disagree?
Completely agree. I mean, what you and Jay-Z say? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't, man.
And it's all in the numbers.
His numbers from yesterday, man. 9 catches, 139, and 1 touchdown. That's just ridiculous. I mean, from Thanksgiving, that's ridiculous. I mean, he made Cuz look good. I was laughing because behind that, I don't know if you ever get a chance to watch Sounds of the Game for your team, but I watch Sounds of the Game every week. And when the Cowboys were sacking him, they were hitting him. They would get up and say, "What's up, Cuz?" And I'm like, look, man, this ain't right. Y'all stop doing that man like that, man. Stop doing that man like that. The Dolphins the Texans were at the Dolphins today, man. And I knew this was a mercy killing. 30 to 15. I think the Texans have actually mailed it in. What do you think about that, Tate? You think they mailed it in, man, not starting Davis Mills?
I think they want to see what else they got, because they're gonna potentially be in the market for a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and it could be a little bit of tank behind it, you know what I mean? But I mean, Davis Mills ain't lighting the world on fire either. So, I think they're just trying to evaluate the quarterback room right now, get a good look at who is now their number two. And who was dude? Who started?
I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't. When I did the pick'em show, I don't know. I didn't even check it out, but I can give you his numbers. Damian Tate said Hawkinson edition is big. I think it's big too. I think it plays for Minnesota. It plays and it's paying dividends for him because TJ is going to be big later on as far as ball control is concerned. Let me see, Tate. Let's answer your question. The Texans quarterback who started. Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen, and
Oh, he's
he started,
yeah,
which
he's not bad.
he's
I
not
mean,
bad.
so
He
yeah,
had 26 for 39, 215, one touchdown, but he had two interceptions.
yeah.
He
I
had two
mean,
interceptions.
he just getting on the field. I think he played somewhere. I think he was. I think didn't he play at Texas A&M?
He did play at Texas A&M.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, he was a physically talented guy. You know what I mean? So I think him and Davis Mills could be on the same level. So they think that they just evaluating the position. But as far as the Dolphins just jumping on him, that was the expectation, even if Davis Mills played. So they pulled two in the third quarter.
Yeah, man. It could have really got ugly. It definitely really could have got ugly. We had the Bengals at the Titans. B dirt. I know you was happy about this. The Bengals at the Titans. I knew that the Bengals were going to win this game only because of the simple fact that when you play the Titans, if your quarterback is above and beyond better than them, I expect y'all to win. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, Tannehill is going to do enough to always give you the game. That's Tannehill's MO. You know what I'm saying? He's going to do enough to give you the game. He's not going to do enough to win the game. I mean, listen to the numbers. Not bad. Let's hear them. But there's two crucial numbers you got to see. Ryan Tannehill, 22, 34, 291 yards, but no tutties. No tutties. You know what I'm saying? No tutties. And then you hold King Henry to 17 rushes, 38 yards. Oh, B-Dirt said it. 17 carries, 38 yards. Tennessee's losing that game. There's no offensive production from anybody. Where is it at? You know what I'm saying? They had 16 points, and it feels like that was all field goals because there was no tutties unless there was a defensive touchdown around there. And I don't see one. Yeah, so basically, it's one of those things that where Cincinnati doesn't have a bad defense. This is not a bad defense. They're solid, and you're going to get production from Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a really, really good quarterback, and you're going to get production from him. Of course, 22 of 37, 270, one touchdown. And Samaje has really stepped up in the absence of Joe Mixon. Samaje stepped up. He had a tutty this week. He had two last week. So 17 for 58.
He had he
One
had
tutty.
he had three last week, I believe.
Yeah. So he's doing his thing. And B Dirt said, good to have DJ Reader back. I would think so. I would think that's a good thing as well. Moving right along in this week, man, we had the Broncos versus the Panthers. Tate is always rolling with Russ, man. I don't get it. I mean, he will not get away from Russ at all, But I'm gonna tell you, man, as much as I love Russ, Russ got to pack it in this season, bro. It's over with. It's over with. And that little experiment that they had just ain't working, Tate. I mean, for real, honestly. The Panthers won this game 23-10. Talk to me a little bit about it before I go into it.
Man, I looked at it, man. I'm thinking the same thing, but the Broncos stand to gain nothing by sitting Russ, other than letting him get rest and paying him 45, whatever the prorated amount of games for $45 million a year is. What they got about 6 more games left, 45 million a year. That means they be paying about 7-8 million a week, 7.5 million a week just to sit. And I mean, They don't gain anything as far as draft capital. They pick going to the Seahawks. So
To the
if they
Seahawks.
sit Russ and be bad, then they gonna let the Seahawks get a top 5 pick.
I,
So I
exactly.
think you just keep rolling Russ out there. I mean, see what he can do. Not much it appears, and I think a lot of it has to do with coaching.
I think so too. B Dirt says Tate riding shotgun with Russ right over the cliff.
I have been.
Right over the cliff, bro. I mean, it is what it is. I hate it. I hate it for you for real, Tate, man. But to
It's
be honest
okay.
with
I mean, I just like Russ. It's not like he the court my franchise quarterback on my team. So I'm good. I've been stubborn, and I probably will be stubborn. I know they play already. But I'll probably be stubborn next week.
you, yeah, man. Russ had 19 of 35, 142, one touchdown, man. Latavius Murray had a good game of 13 for 92, 7.1 a carry, which ain't bad. But, Sam Darnold came in 11 for 19, 164, 130. And Deontay Foreman, the guy from Texas, the running back from Texas, DeAndre Foreman, excuse me, 24 for 113. He did his thing. He definitely did his thing. He balled out this week. Next game we have here is the Bears versus the Jets. Of course, Justin Fields wasn't in this game. So, I mean, the Bears were already at a disadvantage because Trevor Siemian played Trevor Siemian, bro. Like Trevor Siemian.
But come on, Ma. It's Trevor Siemian going into it. It's Trevor Siemian versus Mike White. You feel good about your chances.
I don't. I don't feel
No,
good.
no, coming into it. You
No,
don't. Mike White blew up. We seen Mike White about a handful of games last year. We don't
and
know who Mike White is.
Mike White has played pretty good. Not
Yes, he
exceptional.
played great today.
Yeah, and he played pretty. So Trevor Siemian versus Mike White. I'm taking Mike White every time. And there's another reason why I'm taking Mike White. You do know that, right?
He must be from Texas.
No, Mike White was a draft pick of the Cowboys. We on to him. He was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. We let him go in hopes that nobody would pick him up. They did, and he's been a pretty decent backup for a while. You know what I'm saying? We evaluate talent well. Will McCall, Stephen Jones, we evaluate talent well. B Dirt said you don't have to be a franchise quarterback. You don't have to. You don't.
No,
have
he said my team don't have a franchise quarterback. He's referring to the Steelers and Kenny Pickett.
Understood.
B Dirt just feeling himself this weekend, man.
He's definitely feeling himself.
The Bengals eke out a 7-point win in the fourth quarter, and then you got the Michigan drubbing Ohio State in the second half. So he's feeling on top of his football world right now. And the Ravens lost.
And that is something we'll talk about that in a minute. But Tate, here's what we need to talk about. I mean, honestly, bro, like Mike White threw 3 tutties today. 3.
And 315.
3 tutties. And I got a friend, his name is Max. I'm gonna say his name out here just in case he watches this on the rewind.
Max from the Juan and Max podcast.
Absolutely, Max, you were wrong. You were wrong. You told me that Garrett Wilson he won't do what he did. He's too small. He won't do what he did at Ohio State. And I've told you, I watched the kid from high school all the way to college, all the way to pro. He does nothing but make plays. He's a football player. I don't care how big you think he is or how big you think he's not. He's a football player. And guess who went off today? Who lost his freaking mind? 5 catches, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. Garrett Wilson. He's in that locker room. He's emerging as the number 1 threat on their wide receiver core, which had some decent wide receivers, man. I mean, y'all saw him down there at Ohio State. He did nothing but make plays. Chris Olave may have been the more electric, but when it comes down to Garrett's the most consistent. What do you think about Garrett Wilson's play, man?
Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave both are probably in the top 5 for offensive rookie of the year. I mean, So they both been doing their things in both New York and New Orleans. So I mean, I like Garrett Wilson. I had him as the number one receiver coming out last year myself personally. You know, I mean, I know Drake London went first, and Jamison Williams went also. No, Jamison Williams didn't go before him, but he went high. Jamison Williams was number one on a lot of people's board too. But no, like you said, Garrett Wilson makes plays. He he catches the ball at his apex at the high point. He does a lot of good things on the football field, man. I like Garrett Wilson a lot.
Yeah, I like Gary Wilson a lot, man. I said he was, like I said, there's this intangible thing that you got to understand. Winners are just winners, bro, and winners do stuff that that it's just that intangible thing, man. It's that intangible thing, and you can't really put your finger on why they're as good as they are. They're just good. We have the Falcons versus the Commanders. The Falcons at the Commanders. This was a game that looked like it was going the Falcons' way, man. But I mean, the Falcons, they'll do something good.
They got Marcus Mariota. He
They'll
threw
do something good.
he threw a pick inside the 6 yard line with like 40 seconds left. This is
He
Marcus
did.
Mariota.
15-25, 174, one touchdown, one pick. Definitely Cordell Patterson, 11 carries, 52 yards. The story here, though, is the Commanders, the defense, of course, bailed them out. And the defense has been playing really good football. Taylor Heineke, 14-23, 138, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Not world shaking, but hey, man, Brian Robinson.
Beast. When we talking to Big G backstage, I told Big G about to get popped on this fantasy game. He's still doing good, but he had Brian Robinson on the bench. Brian Robinson scored like 24 points, I think. So yeah, he got a hundo today. He got a touchdown, a receiving touchdown. Hey, he's looking. Got a couple good running backs coming in next year. Rookie running backs. Robinson is one. Kenneth Walker the third is another one. They're gonna be some really good running backs into the future, and probably be some top second or third round fantasy picks in next season's draft.
Absolutely. I totally agree on that. I totally agree. Today we also had the Bucks versus the Browns. They lose this thing in overtime, man. I picked the Bucks in this game. I just felt like old Goat Milk was gonna have some success, man, and it didn't shake out that way, bro. It just didn't shake out that way. Goat Milk got beat in overtime. Tom Brady's numbers 29-43, 246, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Rashad White had a good game, 1464, no tutties though. That I feel like is the missing piece for Tampa Bay. They're not getting any help from their running game. They're not getting any help whatsoever from that running game. If they're getting their weapons back, they're getting healthy, but their running game needs some help. What you think about this game, Tate?
I thought it was a good competitive game. Cleveland came out ready to play. They looked I don't want to say really good. They looked good though. Their defense came to play. Nick Chubb didn't have a heck of a game, but he got the necessary yardage in those weighted moments, those weighted situations. And then at the end of the game in overtime, that broken coverage. I mean, the DB Carlton Davis he slipped. He tried to grab Amari Cooper and interfere him. The refs let it play. Amari Cooper ran down the right sideline wide open, got down the 3 yard line. At that point, you knew it was a wrap. Cleveland didn't just kick it. They decided to give Nick Chubb, we're gonna pound this ball in and win the game, going off with a touchdown. I think they're trying to build momentum and kind of build and establish on a good vibe. They're trying to create a good vibe.
I can feel that. I can feel that. Next game we talked about earlier, the Baltimore Ravens. I don't see how the Ravens lost this game, G. I don't. Tell me. It really broke my heart. The Ravens were killing in this game. Then all of a sudden, here comes Jacksonville. Jacksonville is this team, man. It's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. One moment they're good, next minute you can't really set your clock by Jacksonville, man. Lamar Jackson, 16, 32, 254, 130. He ran for 89 yards, no touchdowns. That's the problem. But this is another team that's suffering from a running game. They need a running game. Lamar should not be the only running back. If you think about this, they're more dangerous when they have a running back there because then that RPO means everything, right? What do you think watching this game today, man? What was your thought process watching this game?
They are missing a workhorse running back. I don't know if J.K. Dobbins is going to come back this year. They could really use him. Baltimore, man, they just have a tendency to give up leads in the fourth quarter. I mean, Jacksonville played a good game. Baltimore, they were up 12 to 10. So the fact that they had 12 points lets you know they settled for 4 field goals up to that point. And you can't just always you got to cash in some of them red zone trips with 7, man. You can't just settle for 3. Trevor Lawrence played well. I think he's really starting to come into his own. What were his stats?
Trevor Lawrence stats here were 29 to 37, 321, and 3 tutties, bro. Three house calls.
So let me say it again. Trevor Lawrence played well.
Yeah.
Come into his own. So it's not. I mean, and Jacksonville got a good young team, and they got some pieces. I expect them. Obviously, it won't be this year, but I expect them next year to really compete for that division. They're gonna pass Tennessee and the Colts by, and Houston's still gonna be rebuilding with lots of draft capital next year. So Jacksonville is on my up and coming list, man.
Yeah, 27, 28.
And they had to kahunas to go for 2 at the end of the game. I mean, they could have kicked the extra point and tied it up and went to overtime. But no, I mean, Doug Peterson got some job security. Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback of the future. They 3-7. They said we going for it, and they got it.
Got nothing else. Just let it ride, man. The Raiders versus the Seahawks. It's in overtime right now. 6-12 in overtime. Raiders 3-7. Seahawks 6-4. It is tied at 34-34. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that this one was going to be one of those games that David Carr came to play. But David Carr, when he comes to play, he also comes to make mistakes. So that's David Carr. You got to take
It's Derek Carr. David Carr.
Derek Carr. David's his brother. My bad.
Right.
25 of 36, 295, 3 tutties, but 2 interceptions, bro. And you got Josh Jacobs out here doing his thug thizzle, 32 carries, 143 yards, and 1 touchdown. That's phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? But Devontae Adams, 7 catches, 74 yards, decent, but no touchdowns. He's out the end zone. And what can you say, bro, about Seattle, man? I mean, Geno Smith, 26 of 35, 323, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. But that's a great stat line, bro.
What was Geno's stats again?
26 of 35, 323 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 1 interception. I mean, that's a pretty good stat line, bro.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
You don't want to see the interception, but hey, man, it's there. And then DK Metcalf, 11 catches, 90 yards. Tyler Lockett, 2 catches, 63 yards, 1 tutty. I mean, they're out there balling right now, man. It's delayed again because of weather. So that game is going to be held up for a minute, but it's delayed. The way to go, Chargers. Yes, about time. See, thank you. I was thinking that I was going to lose this game from a pick 'em, man. But look at this. The Chargers come back and win this game 25-24.
They went 25. For 2. They went for 2 also at the end.
Love it, man. Love it. Herbert was 35 of 47, 274, 3 touchdowns. He was also their leading rusher. This trend's got to stop where the quarterback's your leading rusher. I don't know what's going on. Eckler, he played today, but he only had 5 carries for 20 yards. Did he get hurt?
No, he didn't get hurt in the fourth quarter when I was looking at it last.
Oh, see. Kyler Murray was out there, 18, 29, 191, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Connor, this is what the RPO looks like when you have Kyler Murray in the game. That RPO makes this guy look phenomenal. 25 carries, 120 yards. Makes him look phenomenal, bro. In the games that Kyler Murray was out, he wasn't putting up numbers like that. Because,
Yeah, he's been hurt a lot, but Kyler Murray does open up lanes for him. But Arizona had a commitment to run the ball, even though they didn't win. They probably could have won, but they had the commitment to running the ball. And that's part of it, man. You know what I mean? It's like the running game. I think teams go away from it too fast because it's like hitting on a rock, hitting on the rock. You keep hitting the rock, man, with your hammer. Eventually, it's gonna crack and it's gonna open up. And that's what the running game is in football. You might not bust a big play every time you hand it off, but you gotta keep hitting on that rock.
Definitely. And we know we had a Hollywood Brown spot in the day. He came back, so he played. He's definitely back on the field, which I think is a good thing. You pair him with D-Hop. I mean, you're going to see some good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Definitely going to see some good stuff. And today he had 6 catches, 46 yards. And D-Hop had 4 catches, 87 yards, 1 tutty. So, definitely the Chargers come back. I win that game. AZ, you finally didn't go for AZ, and it rewarded you. It rewarded you today. We got the Saints at the 49ers. I'm going to tell you something. This was a low-scoring game, Tate.
Yeah, the Saints defense came to play. The offense just couldn't get nothing going. So, it doesn't surprise you. That's my one worry about the 49ers. They got all these pieces, but we still talking about Jimmy G. But we also talk about when I said the best teams, we talking about Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. So I mean, ain't none of them the Tom Brady's, the Patrick Mahomes, they just are on good teams that fits all of their playing styles individually. So, yeah, so the 49ers, if I had one worry, it wouldn't be their defense, it'd be about from the quarterback plays. They got weapons everywhere on offense.
Weapons everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Jimmy G, 26 of 37, 222, 1 tutty. McCaffrey, 11 carries, 32 yards. They really shut him down. Defense came out there and played ball, man. E. Mitchell had 7 catches for 35 yards. Brandon Ayuk was the leading receiver at 5 catches, 65 yards. But Jennings is the one that had the touchdown. And Deebo Samuel was kind of froze out. He only had 3 touches today, but they still get the W. And I think that's really the thing that you have to kind of keep in mind. Last game right now, Rams and the Chiefs. The Chiefs beat the Rams 26-10. B. Perkins didn't have a bad game, but didn't have a good one. 13-23, 100 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. That was his debut as a quarterback for the Rams.
As a starter.
As a starter for the Rams, yeah. They got Van Jefferson back, which is going to be good when they get their quarterback back. But hey, man, I mean, you can't beat this guy, man.
I'm thinking Matt Stafford probably done for the year. Myself personally,
you think
Cooper Kupp is out, Allen Robinson is out. I don't see them bringing Stafford back. They just go ahead and let them marinate because they not in the playoff picture.
Not at all. Not at all. Patty Mahomes did his thing. His thug thizzle. 27-42, 320, 1 touchdown, but he had 1 interception. Definitely Pacheco showed up today, Tate. And Kelsey did his thing. I mean, he got so many different titles. So many different ways that he could hit you, so many different people that he could spread the ball up to. and it gets ugly, man. It really gets ugly when Mahomes starts to go in. But let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. The big win yesterday for that team up north. You know what I'm saying? Michigan beats Ohio State, and they beat Ohio State pretty handily. I wish G was here. I got to talk about it. I got to say it. I told G before this game, I said, man, y'all have a really excellent chance of stopping the run. Y'all's question mark defensive backs. And number 6 totally toasted y'all. Toasted Old State. And when they started toasting him, instead of coming out of cover zero, he stayed in cover zero, trying to put 8 men in the box to stop the run, but stay one-on-one, man-to-man. You can't do that. Not when you got a receiver who's tearing your behind up, and then when you came out, then the running game start to tear your behind up. It was different. But Tate, what did you see? Talk to me. What did you see in this game?
Well, I mean, it tracks back to what you said already. I mean, Ohio State, because they got bludgeoned last year in the run game by Michigan, they were determined to stop the run, and they did a good job of it in the first half. They held Michigan to 10 yards rushing. I think Ohio State left some points off the board in the first half where they could have had a little larger cushion in 3 points. And then in the second half, because Michigan's plays in the first half were 2 or 3 long pass plays, and it was the coverage breakdown where the one-on-one guy, one was Cam Martinez and the other one was Taylor Ransom, and they both got beat. But I mean, and I hope B Dirt is here now, because he was talking about McCarthy. Said McCarthy is a better quarterback than CJ Stroud. Not true. McCarthy hit the open throws he's supposed to hit. I mean, those guys got so open, it was like fair catching a punt on most of them balls. Yeah, he didn't drop darts or nothing like that. And in the second half, Ohio State had to give coverage help, and therefore, they trying to help with the back end because they was beating the first half, and Michigan went back just to gutting them with the run. You know what I mean? Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. He's a tough-minded coach. He sticks to the game plan. He uses multiple tight end sets. He runs the ball, commits to the run, plays defense. And Ohio State is, and they've been really good for a few years, but I think overall they've kind of gotten soft under Ryan Day. And of course, Big G went on his rant, fire Ryan Day.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna definitely talk about that because I have to put that out here in the atmosphere because he said it.
Yeah, and I got a homegirl of mine, my friend, my homegirl Kendra in Michigan. Shout out to you. She's an Ohio State fan that lives in enemy territory. She lives in Michigan, and she is already texting me talking about Ohio State need to hire Deion Sanders. I'm like, man, will all y'all just take a chill pill? You know what I mean? I mean, Ryan Day is a good coach. He's second loss in the Big Ten, 2 losses in a row. Michigan is never good with Ohio State, but he's 33-2 in the Big Ten, and probably like 45-6 overall in his tenure at Ohio State. So I'm not ready just to push the button and fire him yet, but we do need a change in identity. We can't just be this spread offense, RPO. We need to get back to the basics, like Harbaugh got Michigan at the basics.
I agree, man. And B-Dirt said, I said McCarthy will have a better pro career. He said that's what he said. If you go,
and that's not true either. McCarthy probably will be a 5th or 6th round pick and sit on somebody's bench for 3 or 4 years when he gets in the league. CJ Stroud is viewed as a franchise quarterback, going to be a top 5 pick and probably be starting early in his career.
I don't think he's ready to go to the league right now.
He may not be.
I think Caleb Williams is probably the most pro-ready quarterback in college football, but he's not even eligible to go. until next year.
He's not eligible. I definitely think CJ Stroud could benefit from another year. But as far as, like I told Big G, as far as the bag go, it ain't gonna get no better.
I don't think the bag will get any better.
No, it won't, because he's a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I don't think the bag will get any better. But who knows? What I will say in this whole thing is Big G said to fire Ryan Day. This was Big G's whole thing. He said Ryan Day will never beat Harbaugh again. I don't know about that. I said he beat him once. I don't think that he'll be able to. I think it's kind of like a big game Bob, Mac Brown scenario. They're going to go back and forth. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be years where Michigan's up. It's going to be years when Ohio State's up. That's going to happen in any rivalry, right? And just like you said, I think Ryan Day is one of the good coaches in college football, top 10, college football coach in America. So, honestly, I think that's there. But sidebar, someone mentioned Deion. Here's the other thing I had to say. A friend of mine, Corey Anderson, you I hope you're watching as well, because I'm shouting you out. He doesn't believe in Deion. He believes that, Deion is not ready to take a Power 5 school or in a Power 5 conference and actually coach him. I believe Deion is ready. I believe Deion is ready 110%, whether it be at Colorado or whether it be at Auburn, like Charles Barkley has predicted. Either or, to me, I think Deion is ready. What do you think, Tate? Talk to me about that.
I don't know. It's quite a step up. I mean, Deion has the cachet to recruit and inspire these kids in the Jackson State team. I just don't truly know about them completely X's and O's wise in a Power 5 conference right now. I mean, it would definitely be a boost, and not that a program like Ohio State needs a boost, but I mean, it would definitely be an injection in the arm. But I mean, I don't know what he does.
Could he go to Auburn? Could he go to Auburn and be a good football coach? Talk to me. You think he could go to Auburn and be a good football coach?
Like I said, I mean, I still don't know. You got to realize some of the coaches: Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, Brian Kelly. I mean, these dudes are well versed and really good at their craft, man. They've been to the big stage. You know what I mean? So for Deion just to come in, I don't know. And Auburn hired somebody. Who did Auburn just hire?
Auburn ain't hired anybody yet.
They haven't?
Not yet. Not yet. Lane Kiffin went back to Ole Miss, which he was in line for that job. The reason why I say is just like you said, Deion has the swag to attract people that will come coach with him, right? Just like with the coach at USC, what's his name? Coach at USC,
Lincoln Riley.
They have things they do really good. Deion is he is a Hall of Fame defensive back, and he would really be great at coaching that position. And I just think he would need a offensive coordinator, a great offensive mind, a great defensive mind, and he'd be ready. I think he can oversee the direction of the program, and he would recruit the heck out of Florida. The state of Florida would come wherever he comes to Division I football. The state of Florida is coming behind him, right? He's that type of guy where kids will want to play for, So, I mean, honestly, if he gets a Power 5 job, whether it be at Colorado or because Colorado wants to offer him the job. So whether he go to Colorado or whether he go to Auburn, I would like to see him be able to get that shot. I honestly want to see him stay at Jackson State because, I want to see that whole thing be built up. I want to see him at Jackson State, see that whole thing be built up. What's up, Claude? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you on this Sunday. Homie? Yeah. So, I mean, talk to me. Would you rather see him go back to a HBCU, or would you rather see him go ahead and move his coaching career up?
Well, let me ask you this: is it much different than Jeff Saturday getting the coach job? I mean, Jeff Saturday has high school experience before getting the job with the Colts. Dion has experience on the HBCU level, which is not Division 1. I mean, so I'm not saying he couldn't do it. Yeah, I think if he had a good coordinator on both sides of the ball, he could be the head coach. But I mean, I'm talking about, I'd have to see more of everything involved in coaching. His clock management, his play calls, his decisions, and all that on a different level. I think he could be a good coach. I don't know if that answers your question. I don't remember what question you answered me. I started in on Jeff Saturday.
No. You're right. I asked, would he be a good coach? Would he handle it? Because I talked to my friend Corey Anderson Proof, and he was saying he don't think that Dion is ready to take that step legitimately.
Yeah, he might not be ready legitimately. I think he could do it, but he could benefit from a few more years.
Yeah, I think I would love to see. And then, like I asked you, as far as him staying in the HBCU and bringing kids in there, I would love to see that. But at the same time, for his own career, I mean, and that's the thing that the SWAC was saying, they feel used, like he came in. That's why they were saying he's not SWAC, that he came in, used him as a platform. And I don't feel like it was a use. I feel like it was one of those things to where, he brought light back to the HBCU, and the HBCU gave him the coaching experience that he needed. They benefited both from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
It was a beneficial arrangement. So you can't say that Dion used the SWAC. He took a job and he got that under his belt, and now he's trying to take another job to where he wants to go. And I don't see anything wrong with that, man. I don't see nothing wrong with that. So, Claude said, if he doesn't need the money, I like to see him stay at JSU. I get it. I like to see it too. I think we all would want to see, we definitely want to see a HBCU get an opportunity to play against a Power 5 team. You know what I'm saying? To play against the Power 5
but
team.
I have to admit, there also, even with me, is a level of curiosity of what Dion could do at the Power 5 D1 level.
Yeah, with those resources. Think about it. You give him those type of resources. I mean, he is what, 20? He's 20-2 or 20-1 at coaching at HBCU level. He lost one game last year, hadn't lost one this year. So, he's 20-1 or 22-1, something like that. I would like to see him have the resources he needs to be able to put together a team. Of course, his son is going to leave with him, and a lot of the kids that he recruited are going to leave with him. But I think you still got Eddie George over there,
and then Jackson State falls off the map. It's really not fair to them, So then that's why I'm torn. You know what I mean?
But I mean, you still, like I said, you still got Eddie George over there. You still got.
I said Jackson State, not HBCUs. Jackson State.
Yeah, well,
if Dion leaves and his son leaves and all his top recruits leave with him, then where's that leave Jackson State? Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, Lincoln Riley left in Oklahoma, kind of fell apart. But
I was just about to say, I was going to use the line from Paid in Full. People get shot every day, B. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, coaches leave every day, B. It is what it is, man. And when they leave, they take some of the players with them. Some of them will stay, some of them won't, But that's the nature of the job that you take, man. Really, it's the nature of the job you take. But we look at number one, Georgia. Number one, Georgia won yesterday. They took care of business. Number 2 is Michigan at 12-0. TCU is number 3. They took care of business. They totally took the whooping stick and went at Iowa State yesterday. They beat that behind. USC, they won yesterday, and you saw what was on Caleb Williams' nails. That was actually on his nails. That was not Photoshop. That was actually on his nails tape. Every week he does something crazy and puts something on his nails. He's a savage for that. Ohio State is at number 5 ahead of Alabama. So what do you think about that?
I think Ohio State should be above Alabama. Alabama has 2 losses. Alabama lost to Tennessee,
mm-hmm.
who was ranked number 3 or 4 at the time.
At the time, yeah.
I think they're number 8 now. Alabama lost to LSU, who was ranked like number 10 at the time, and they lost yesterday. I think they fell down to like around 10 again, 9 or 10. Where they at in the top 10?
11.
11. So they're number 11. So I mean, Ohio State lost, just totally blew the game in the second half. So they played one bad half of football. They won every game this year by double digits, and they had one bad half of football. So I think Ohio State should be number 5. And I think if either TCU or USC loses, Ohio State should be going to the playoffs.
Understood. Claude Bishop says, do you think that his son is a D1 starting quarterback? I do. I think Shakur can actually start in the D1 environment. Smart kid, big arm, can move. I think he deserves a shot. He played in the DFW area for high school with his dad's team, and they played everybody. They played Cedar Hill, they played Duncanville. These are teams that are notorious.
I think we can't forget he probably would have got a shot, but he chose to go play with his dad.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason why I'm bringing up these high schools is these high school programs in Texas are dang near like Division I colleges, because that's where Division I's are getting all of their talent from. DeSoto, Duncanville, Cedar Hill, all of those programs are spitting out D1 talent, and Alabama, SEC, Ohio State type talent, so hey man, I think he can do it. I think great question, Claude. Great question. So Ohio State's number 5, Alabama is number 6, Tennessee is number 7. Penn State, who's just been quietly, silently just winning, bro. They're at number 8. And these are teams that Penn State's done playing for the year. Tennessee's done playing for the year. Alabama's done playing for the year. Ohio State is done playing for the year. So let's go ahead and put this in perspective. Those teams got no more games. Conference championships, Georgia got a game, Michigan got a game, TCU got a game, USC got a game, and they got to handle their business, in order to make it into the playoffs. Washington is at 10-2. Clemson lost yesterday. They took a L dog, and I think they're going to take another L dog to. Don't they play ACC championship? They play North Carolina, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's an L dog.
This is where we need Big G. But yeah. So what do you think about who plays in the Pac-12 championship? USC versus Utah, right? And that's allowing USC to avenge their one loss this year. It was against Utah.
Yeah, but I think they beat Utah. The team that they didn't want to see, I guarantee you, the team they didn't want to see is Oregon. They want no parts of Oregon right now. They wanted no parts of Oregon. They wanted no parts of Oregon.
You think so? I mean, don't Oregon have 3 L's now?
Oregon is 9-3, but they wanted no parts of Oregon, man.
Okay.
They want no parts of Oregon. I guarantee.
I think Utah can beat them again. Not saying they will. I think just that level of physicality Utah plays with on both sides of the ball.
And they
physical too. Yeah, I think Lincoln Riley's team. He's 1 year ahead of schedule at USC.
He really is.
Yeah, he's 1 year ahead of schedule.
He's a year ahead of schedule, and that's because he got a dog. He has a Porsche driving. I mean, for real, driving that offense. Caleb Williams is that guy. Caleb Williams is definitely that guy.
How do you neutralize a quarterback like that? You keep him off the field. You put pressure on him. I mean, everything Utah does, you run the ball. Everything Utah does,
You
I
get
mean,
him to the ground. You keep him in the pocket. You keep him from moving around. You get him to the ground.
I
And
agree.
you have to do it. You can't. Caleb Williams is one of them guys that if you let him run around too long, he is gonna hurt you because he doesn't get up the field to run. He's like Russ. I mean, excuse me, like Mahomes in the sense that Mahomes moves around to throw the ball, right?
Yeah,
So
but Bryce Young has some of that too.
Bryce
Let
Young
me
got some of that too. I
let,
like I
let me
like
ask
that.
you this: do you think if if Alabama plays Georgia in the SEC championship, right? Since LSU lost,
Is it Alabama?
I'm pretty sure it's Alabama.
We got to check that out. Ooh, if Alabama wins, if Alabama wins, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Uh, that throws a wrench in things.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. What do you think about that? If Alabama wins,
That throws a wrench in things. I mean, this is where we need Big G. Because Big G is the prognosticator. He's the one that tells. He's done did all of the deep dive theories, and he'll tell you
man,
when.
has he done some deep dive theories?
Man, he has the deep dive theories, and if and then and when and this happens and that happens and the
Wait,
other
wait, wait,
happens.
wait, wait. It's still they playing LSU.
They playing LSU.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Okay, well that's cool. I still think that wins that game.
Even
Um,
though even though LSU won last night, I think even though LSU and you never know, but I think Georgia beats LSU. So
okay,
you don't have to worry about that monkey wrench of Georgia losing because Georgia could lose and still be in the playoffs.
right, and then it opened the door for the other team that wins. So but again, Utah is 9-3. They're playing in their conference championship game. Kansas State is 9-3. They're playing in their conference championship game. I'm gonna tell you the gist of the matter is when it comes down to it. Claude, I see you. He said that's his dispatcher. Sherry, thanks for watching. I appreciate you for being on the program with us. Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you something. Kansas State gained nothing, but this is an easier game for TCU. This is an easier game. Playing TCU plays right. Kansas State winning plays right into Kansas State's hands. I mean TCU's hands. I don't think TCU has what it takes. Even though they were up on TCU, that was it. That was an unexpected being up. And you saw at the end of the game they whooped that behind. They whooped that behind for real, for
But
real.
so you suggest that if Kansas had to beat Kansas State, then Texas would have been in there. But TCU handled Texas.
They did that first time, but they wouldn't have got them that second time. Texas is peaking right now, and they're actually at a place to where they're playing balanced offense, complementary offense, and complementary defense. They're peaking right now. And they played their last game of the season. I don't know how many people are going to actually even play in the bowl game because I don't know who's going pro and who's not. You know what I mean? And that's one of those things that you definitely have to look at in the state of football that we're in right now. But closing out the ranks, we got Florida State at 14, Oregon at 15, Oregon State at 16, UCLA 17, Tulane 18, Notre Dame 19, South Carolina 20, Texas 21, UCF is 9-3 and they're at 22. UTSA, they're a good team, 10-2 at 23. North Carolina at 9-3, and Mississippi State at 8-4 closes out our top 25. So when the playoff comes, Georgia, Claude said, do we think Georgia wins it all? I don't know. I can't say. Georgia is the most complete team, but I was just about to ask Tate in the playoffs right now. So if it holds true, right now we have Georgia, we have Michigan, we have TCU, and who would be our fourth team?
USC if they win.
USC. Okay. So USC had the fighter's chance, a puncher's chance to beat anybody because of their offensive prowess, right? They really do. TCU is a sneaky team because if you look past them, they'll punch you in the mouth and you'll be in a sluggish battle, right?
I feel like TCU probably could have and probably should have lost 2 or 3 games this year. I think I want TCU to lose bad, not just my Ohio State fan, just to have because even if Ohio State did make it and TCU lost, it would be a better football game because TCU was last year's Cincinnati in my book.
Okay, so we would have one verse. So number one would play USC. Georgia play USC. Michigan would play TCU. I think TCU would beat Michigan. Actually, you know what I'm saying?
They wouldn't.
I think TCU would beat
not a
Michigan.
chance. Not a chance.
You want to know why I say that?
Because you from Texas.
No. That ain't got the reason why. They have the elixir to beat Michigan. To beat Michigan, you have to run the ball and you have to pass the ball, which some y'all couldn't do because both of y'all running backs was out. You couldn't run the ball and pass the ball. And then you have to be able to stop the run. TCU can do that. And then also have enough firepower out there on the edge defensively, as far as the defensive backs, to cover the receivers that they put out in coverage. You're not going to be able to outrun them. That's one. And then you're not going to be able to throw the deep ball on them. That's two. So they would beat them. They would definitely beat them. Now, they're outmatched by anybody else. I'm just going to tell you. I think TCU is outmatched by USC. I think they're outmatched by Georgia. So, Claude, to answer your question, I think USC can actually beat Georgia, but I don't think anybody else in that this conversation would beat Georgia. So Georgia would be my.
So you saying USC is the only team you foresee they being able to beat Georgia?
Yeah, they got enough offense to do it, right? That's
Man, you know Georgia. You see what Georgia's defense did to Tennessee?
Yeah,
not a chance, Ma.
But so Hooker is not as good as Caleb Williams.
But that offense was the number one offense in the nation, including USC's offense.
It was, but the running back for USC is really good. The wide receiver from Pittsburgh is all world, and Caleb Williams is all world. So I mean, we're not talking about Hooker. We're Holton Hooker. What's his name? Holton Hooker.
Hendon, H-E-N-D-O-N.
Yeah, we're not talking about Hendon Hooker running this offense. We're talking about Caleb Williams, who is legit. You know what I'm saying? Who's legit back there at quarterback and who can get the ball and hurt you with his legs, and he can hurt you. Because, see, first of all, he won't just, like I said, he won't just run to run the ball. He's running, looking downfield, and he'll hurt you like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I said, and Georgia's defensive backs are good, but you know, it takes a lot to bring that man to the ground. You know what I'm saying? And I think he will help you more than he will hurt you. That's why I
don't have much faith in USC like today. I mean, they played a shootout game, great game against UCLA. UCLA was right there. I mean, we talking about them playing teams. Georgia plays in the SEC and is battle tested.
But are they impenetrable? Are they last year's Georgia team? Is this last year's Georgia team, though?
Probably not.
Right. That was the Teflon Dons. Though you knew they were going to win. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Georgia is that team this year. They got holes. You know what I'm saying? They got holes. And I think, USC would exploit them. And I think their coach would exploit them. So he would definitely put them in positions to win the game. So Tate, final shots, man. Give me your final shot while we're getting ready to roll out.
Man, I really don't have one, man. I'm always fail at the final shot. I never think ahead and think about what I want to say. So when you do this every week, man, I'm at a loss because because of my ill preparedness. So I blame it on myself. But I'm looking forward to Monday Night Football tomorrow night. The Steelers play the Colts. So I'll be watching my team, man. That's all.
Yeah, man. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching the Know It All podcast. And my parting shot goes a little something like this: Philadelphia Eagles. It's not because my arch rival from the NFC East, being a Dallas Cowboy, is the New York Giants. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Sheagles, are like our little brothers. You know what I'm saying? We play tricks on them, we laugh at them, ha ha, kiki. I keep telling everybody they'll lose 2 more games before they get to the Cowboys. They're getting a lot of the teams that we played already. Those teams are getting healthy, and they're going to have to play some hard. Everybody keeps looking at their schedule like, oh my gosh, they're playing this weak schedule. I'm telling you, they're not. Pull up their last games for me. Pull up their last games. They're not. They have holes, and the Eagles, while they started good, it's not how you start. In the NFL, it's definitely who gets hot the latest and who gets hot towards the playoffs. And normally when a team gets hot towards the playoffs, they ride that 8 games on out of there. You know what I'm saying? Who does Philadelphia got in their last couple games?
Let's see.
They got the Packers tonight, which I think is an L.
The Eagles have, like you said, the Packers, Tennessee.
That's a loss.
The Giants, Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans, the Giants.
So I think the Packers get them. I think Tennessee get them. If Tennessee doesn't get them, the Giants may. The Giants may. I don't think that the Giants have. And then the last time I think they lose it to the Commanders if that game means something, right? They play the Commanders last, right?
No, they play the Giants again last.
Okay. So no, it may be the Giants that
they played the Commanders twice already.
Yeah, so I think it's the Giants. You're NFC every year when it comes down to it. The NFC, you have to understand that there's one team that always gets swept. There's one team you split with, and you may sweep another team. You may sweep. That's the leader, the winner. The winner of the NFC does it that way, right? It does it that way.
You call Philly your little brother in the all-time series numbers. What would you say it is?
Oh, they got hot with Terrell and all of them. They got hot, So I think it's relatively even, but we still don't see them like that. So I think it'd probably be even.
No, I mean the Dallas is up 15 games.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Like we don't. It's not ha kiki with them. Hey, y'all beat us. It's like, okay, we'll see you next time. We hate losing to the Giants. We hate losing to the who used to be the Redskins. But now the Redskins ain't got nothing for us, so it's just the Giants, really. Definitely. So when I look at it, like I said, my parting shot and the way that I see this thing going, I think the Eagles need to stop looking past people and they need to put it together, because I'm going to tell you something. These teams like Detroit are starting to get good and get healthy and starting to find themselves on the football field. So that's my parting shot. And also, Thanksgiving was here. I hope, this weekend you got a chance to see family. If you didn't, please make an effort to text somebody you haven't texted.
Hey, Ma, but before you go, man, you got to put some respect on Philly name, man. They 15 games behind Dallas in the all-time series, and Dallas kind of has traditionally ruled the NFC East over time, but Dallas is 26 games ahead of the Giants, and you say that's your main rivalry. You got to put some respect on the Eagles' name, man.
No,
that's all. I'm done.
I can't put respect on that. You got to realize through the Giants' time. I mean, listen, the Giants will. I mean, their fans are so horrible to Cowboy fans. Philadelphia fans just talk, you laugh at them because you know you can beat them. You know what I'm saying? You laugh at them because you know you can beat them, man. And, so, all right. So Claude and them are talking about this in the chat. I wasn't going to bring it up. I was going to leave it alone, but we got like 5 minutes. If I saw a picture of you when you were 14 years old, and you were doing something that you should have been doing, I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm not. You were 14. You know what I'm saying?
What are we talking about here?
If you have been an older man, we're talking about the picture that came out of Jerry Jones when there was some students who were trying to come into this before desegregation. He was in the crowd, pure as day, his face, it was him. He was there. I'm pretty sure there was some slurs being thrown around. I'm sure that there were people who were getting hit by rocks and being spit on. I know that that environment was horrible. Right? That's 15-year-old you. Okay.
14-year-old me.
14.
And I was an innocent kid. But now back to Jerry Jones.
So excuse me. They caught Jerry on this picture in 4K. He's there. Famous picture. The two black students are being harassed. I'm gonna tell you something. Prejudice is prejudice. It is. And I get what you're saying, Claude. Claude says young bigots grow up to be old bigots. But sometimes who you are at 14 ain't who you are at 70. You know what I'm saying? That's 60 some odd years of this man's life that he had to change, right? Do I say that he's a racist now? I don't say that. Does he have some old school tendencies? I will say that. But I'm tired of the cancel culture that we find ourselves in. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of cancel culture that's going on, and people are holding people. I guarantee you, there's 7 of us watching right now, probably a little bit more because people that I can't see on Twitter. I guarantee you, if we had camera phones and smartphones back when a lot of us were young, there was some stuff that we'd have got caught doing in 4K that we'd have been ashamed of. You know what I'm saying? And I cannot say without any shadow of a doubt, I can't say what Jerry was doing or what he wasn't, because they didn't catch that in 4K. Now, if they'd have caught Jerry whooping the kid or spitting on the kid in 4K, yo, Jerry, you need to come out and apologize, bro. You need to come out and apologize. You need to say what your involvement was. You need to go and put this out. But making this man responsible, or even I could even see if you guys wanted him to. Yeah, I agree. We'll talk about that here in a minute. I could see if you guys wanted him to get up and talk about the experience and denounce the attitudes of racial superiority and racial the racial line, saying that, I must be first, I'm this, I'm that. If you want him to get up and talk about that and say, okay, I'm not with that, I'm not with any type of prejudice in any form, I could see that. But holding him hostage on a 14-year-old picture, I don't think that's right. And Tate, what you think about that?
Well, you and Stephen A. Smith have come to his defense.
I'm not coming to his defense. This is not me saying, oh, Jerry ain't right for that. No, I'm saying, what I'm saying is this. I'm saying this pure as day. Whether he was there in defense or curiosity, like whatever he said, we don't know. But how is it that we can hold somebody else hostage for something they did when they were at 14, when there are things in our life that we can hold ourselves hostage for, or somebody else can hold us hostage for that we've done? That's all I'm saying. Is take the side of being neutral until you find out all of the information.
I agree, but I mean, I feel like the whole situation with Colin Kaepernick and Jerry Jones not supporting the players' individuality and being able to kneel if they want to. That no Dallas Cowboy can kneel. Jerry said that,
That's
so I
not
think
true. He kneeled with the players.
when did Jerry kneel with the players?
He kneeled with the players. I have a picture of it. I'll show it to you. There's an actual picture of him kneeling with the
You
players
keep you
on
keep
the
finding
side.
all these Photoshop pictures, man. But because I remember Jerry saying all Cowboys will stand at for the national anthem, and I mean I don't know. You show me the picture. I have to read. I mean, because I remember that, and I have to read and see if there was one game he said, "Oh, okay, boys, y'all go ahead and kneel." I don't know,
No,
but
he actually took a knee with the team.
okay. But I mean, I kind of agree with Claude when he said young biggest become old biggest. People can't change though. But I mean, you look at Mark Wahlberg.
Yep.
He back in his day he was doing he was kind of a bigot racist, and I mean, so I think he's 50, 51, 52 now. This was when he was a teenager. So I mean, I think people can change, you know what I mean? That's Photoshop.
It's not Photoshop.
Photoshop, man.
Here's somebody who took the picture from a different angle. That's not Photoshop.
Okay, I'm going to research this, and we going to talk about it briefly in the Pick'em show. I'm going to let you know what I found out.
Definitely. Card. Listen, I appreciate you and Sherry for bringing it up and talking about it in the chat. There's nothing, there's nothing that we won't talk about. We're not scared like that. We love each and every one of our members that actually chop it up with us. We want to have conversations with you. We want to talk about it, and we definitely want to get it in because guess what? We do know it all, and we do know it all. But we thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on YouTube and Twitch. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube and Twitch so that when we go live, we'll definitely be there and get that notification, man. As for me, as for myself, as for Big Tate, man, we love you guys. We thank y'all for coming out. Make sure that you call and text your family members. Like to send out a special care for my family members. We had a family member that died from cancer, my dad's sister, and we definitely want to send out condolences to the Gurley family, man. We love you guys. We'll talk at you later. Peace.